Hey, what's up everybody? It's Brian. I had a pretty long day today. I drove for 10 hours and then I set up my 4-season tent and then went and chopped wood. And now I'm baking a pizza by the stove and I'm going to crash after this. But I wanted to show you guys real quick the way I bake a pizza. What I do is I use what I've kind of nicknamed a turtle stove. And it's made out of aluminum foil here. And so I make a bottom portion to this. Just pull it over here and I'll show you. See how I make there's like a dish down here? So you can take 3 pieces, you go boom, boom, and then boom, and then you can make an edge around it like that. And then for the top portion here, you take 2 pieces and you kind of like suture them together, you know, you fold them over a couple times. That way the heat stays in there. And then, you know, when you first put this on there, it gets hot real quick, and so your crust is going to cook first because it's right here next to the, you know, the warm portion of the stove. And so that always happens. Don't you know, freak out about it or nothing like that. What you do is you take 2 more layers of aluminum foil, and this has to be heavy-duty aluminum foil. You can't use regular aluminum foil. It doesn't work. This heavy-duty stuff provides enough you know, insulation to where it's not going to totally just fry your pizza. And I think the light tin foil, you know, the normal stuff is pretty flimsy, so you just don't want to use that. But anyway, back to this. So you put 2 additional sheets down, and then what that does is that makes the bottom rather cool. And then over here, instead of having like the whole side, you know, cinched down, what you do is you open up a little hole like this. Now let me turn my headlamp here and I'll show you the pizza inside. Now, let's pull it back here. So, can't really tell, but anyway, it's melting up pretty good. This is a pretty big pizza. It's actually massive, so I won't be eating all this tonight. But what you do is you take this portion right here, and you basically use that as like the place where you induct heat into the turtle stove. And the place that on the stove that's always the hottest is the junction where the back of the stove meets the stovepipe, because the stovepipe's a lot thinner than this, but you know, the air coming through here is extremely hot. And so what I do is I take this turtle stove and I'll put that hole right up against that area right there, just like that, and it's pretty much flush on it. I mean, obviously there's a little bit of a gap, but nothing major. So and what that does is it pushes the heat back in here, and it kind of acts like a convection stove, you know, for the top portion. So that way, you know, you're always going to get a pizza that's already been cooked and then it's frozen. The majority of the pizzas, I believe, that are sold at the grocery store are made that way, so you're pretty much good to go. All you gotta do is heat it up and make sure you don't burn your crust. And so I'm gonna enjoy this, and then I'm literally gonna crash immediately after I eat. I am so exhausted at the moment, I can't even think straight. But I'm gonna enjoy this pizza, and then I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and I'm gonna do a video on the views that I have around this area. It's pretty insane. All right, thanks. All right, it smells like it's really done, so we're gonna take this this pizza off here. Actually, I'm just gonna pull it over here. There's a side tray that I have for my stove, and it's not nearly as warm. You don't want to touch it, but it's just not as hot as the stove itself. But it's a good place to put things that you want to keep warm. So anyway, let's check this pizza and see how it looks. I'd say that looks pretty good. Yeah. Let's see how the crust looks. Let's see, I'm doing all right. This looks really good. This turned out a lot better than I thought. So anyway, so that's what I call the turtle stove, and you know, it works pretty good for these pizzas. You can also put other stuff in here too if you want to warm up like meatloaf that you've frozen, or you know, pretty much anything you want to bake. But it's a pretty easy thing to do, and all you need is tin foil, then you're good to go. So, well, and obviously you need a heat source. You could do this over a fire as well. When you do it over a fire, you don't have this portion open, you just have it completely closed, but you want to make like kind of a bubble over it. And then you probably want to use 4 of these heavy duty pieces of tin foil if you do it over fire. I'd recommend, if you're going to do it that way, make sure that you always reduce your fire just down to coals, and then you can blow the coals while this is, you know, sitting over the top of it if the coals start to cool off a bit. But I've done that in the past and it's worked really well. So if you have any questions, just hit me up in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.